Hello, welcome to the Y&Y's YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all of the places you can find me should be linked in the description box below this video. This is a Y&Y's Extra video and it's something a little bit different for the channel. I thought I'd try this and see what you think. I recently put up my video about choosing my knit projects for September, and I mentioned that the inspiration for that video was some booktube videos I've seen where people choose their sort of reading list for the month. And under that video I had a couple of comments asking what was I going to read in September, and also a couple of messages over on Instagram about the same. I thought, well, why the heck not just pop up a video here on my channel and see how it goes. Let me know your thoughts, because I know obviously a lot of you are here for the sort of fibre arts content, and I've put some journaling videos up in the past, and now I'm thinking, should I start a new channel for like the journaling and what I'm going to read videos, because I'm thinking perhaps I'll do this once a month. But yeah, if you have any strong thoughts, please let me know below. Obviously I try to label my videos really clearly so you know what the content is, so it'll be easy to skip over the journaling and the reading videos if you're not interested. But if you have strong thoughts about whether I should make a separate channel, because I don't want to sort of clutter up people's kind of subscription feeds on YouTube with stuff that they don't want, then please let me know below. But with that being said, I thought I'd spend a few minutes chatting about what I hope to read in September. And I've put my most bookish glasses on, so I hope you appreciate that effort. My reading list for September is fairly ambitious. I will literally read anything and everything. My favourite genres are sci-fi, fantasy. I love kind of historical fiction and anything that's based around kind of fables, fairy tales, mythology. But I will literally give anything a try. The reading list tends to be dictated somewhat by my library reservations. I've come back to reading quite recently, so probably since we've been into lockdown, I've really got into listening to audiobooks, and I know some people feel that audiobooks isn't proper reading. I completely respect that opinion if that is yours, but that is not opinion that I hold. I think in some ways it's a little bit ableist. There are people who are not able to read an actual physical book for various reasons. Maybe they have sight issues, and a couple of the books that I have got to physically read, the print is so small that, you know, if you had any sort of sight impairments, then it'd be very difficult to read. And some of the books just physically can be quite big and heavy. If I just move my copy of Circe, I've got a couple of copies here from Philip Pullman, the Book of Dust trilogy, which is the kind of set in the same world as his Dark Materials trilogy. It's a newer version. But these books are huge and they're quite heavy to hold and read. So I think audiobooks and ebooks are just a great way of making reading accessible to a wide number of people. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent, wasn't it? My reading list tends to be kind of dictated by my library reservations. So I use an app called BorrowBox, which I believe is available throughout the UK. You just plug in the county that you live and you need to be registered with your local library, and you get like a PIN number, at least for this area. I don't know if it's exactly the same all around the country, but there'll be some sort of something that you have to input to kind of confirm your ID. And then you can borrow audiobooks and also ebooks through the BorrowBox app. So I use that. I also obviously read physical books, and I have an Audible subscription, and I've also recently tried another app called Scribd, which is also a subscription service, slightly different to Audible. So with Audible you get 1 or 2 credits a month depending on how much you pay. With Scribd the monthly subscription is slightly higher, it's around £10 a month, but apparently you can borrow multiple ebooks and audiobooks throughout the month. So you can sign up for a 30-day free trial, so I'm testing that out at the moment to see what that's like too. I put a bunch of reservations on audiobooks through the library, and when I first put the reservations on they were kind of spread throughout sort of August to December, and now as happens on occasion, that's come back to bite me in the bum a little bit, because as people finish and return those audiobooks, sometimes the sort of date available sort of creeps closer and closer, and 8 of my 9 current reservations are available now or will be before the end of September. So I think it's going to be quite a heavy reading month for me this month. Currently reading Mythos by Stephen Fry. This is not the best light to try and show you my phone screen, so if I can get fancy, I might put a picture of the cover up here. I'm sure most people will be aware of Stephen Fry. He is definitely a national treasure here in the UK, but he has a book which is the retelling of Greek mythology, and I've already started this, and there's a small chance that I might actually finish it before the beginning of September. I'm recording this on the 30th of August. I've got 12 hours of the book left, but I'm able to listen to it on double speed. That's the other thing I like about audiobooks. You can change the speed to match your kind of natural reading pace, and I found with this particular book that double speed is kind of comfortable for me. And it's the weekend, and I'm hoping to take most of the day off tomorrow, so I'm hoping for quite a lot of reading time over the next couple of days. So there is an outside chance that this one might be finished. I am 2.5 hours in. I'm enjoying it so far. It's not my most favourite book that I've read this year. I studied classics at university. I love mythology and fables and that sort of world, and so far this book is a really good listen, but it hasn't captured me as much as some of the kind of fictional retellings of mythology that I've read. One of my favourite books that I've read this year is Circe by Madeline Miller, and I asked for a physical. I listened to that on audio, and I asked for a physical copy for my birthday because I enjoyed it so much, and I know that I'll be rereading it. So far Mythos hasn't captured me like that, but I am enjoying it, and I'm also really enjoying particularly the Stephen Fry's explanation of some of the sort of etymology, is that the right word? Sort of the roots of the words that we use, how they come from like ancient Latin and Greek. And as part of my degree, I was never great at the languages part, so I'm really enjoying that side of this book. So yeah, Stephen Fry's Mythos. The second book on my reading list is called Olive by Emma Gammon. It's a contemporary fiction, not my usual kind of go-to read, but it popped up in the kind of new to the library audiobook selection. The sort of like top little bit of blurb, it says the story is told with great warmth and nostalgia. This is a modern tale about the obstacle course of adulthood, milestone decisions, and the taboo about choosing not to have children. So that's kind of what drew me in. I am a 40-something-year-old woman with no kids. From a young age, I never felt a huge pull towards becoming a mum. There are definitely points in my life where I would have liked to have been a mum, but it was never something that was a goal that I had in life that if I didn't achieve, I was some sort of failure, because I know that some people feel that sort of draw towards motherhood so strongly that that's kind of what they want their life to be, but that was never really me. As I say, there have been times where I felt like I would like to be a mum. There have even been times in my life where I've been pregnant. So I wouldn't say that I have chosen not to have children, but there are definitely big parts of my life where I have chosen that because I've taken measures to prevent becoming pregnant. So maybe this is a bit more personal than you would expect from a booktube video, but yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how that subject is tackled in fiction. So that is the next thing that's coming up on my reading list. And then later in the month, I shall be getting the audio copy of Tony Adeyemi's Children of Virtue and Vengeance. I've got the physical copy as well. As you can see, I found that I have really enjoyed the experience of reading along the physical book while listening to the audiobook, and also the ability to be able to switch between the two. I often listen to my audiobooks with headphones on, and sometimes I just don't feel like wearing headphones, so it's nice to be able to pick up a physical copy and sort of switch between the two, or follow along. If I want to kind of switch everything out totally, then I find listening and reading at the same time really helps me concentrate on the story at hand. This is the second book in a series. The first book is Children of Blood and Bone. It's a fantasy novel set in the kingdom of Orisha, where there is a sort of king who is very anti-magic, and there is a tribe of people who have been really suppressed, who have magical abilities, but magic has been stripped from the world. And the first story is a tale of a group of young people who are on a quest to bring magic back. It's a very simplified version. I loved the first book. At the end couple of chapters, I was snotty crying. I was reading it in the garden on a nice day early on in the summer, and yeah, I was just snotty crying at the end. Really looking forward to moving on to book 2. I've heard mixed things about book 2. Apparently some of the characters kind of changed slightly, which I guess you know, as following the experiences they had in the first book. That's probably unsurprising, but I'm interested to see whether that is actually the case. I don't tend to let myself be led by book reviews too much because same as anything in life, we're all different, and some really sort of slated books I've loved, and some books that everyone loves I have not really had that opinion. So I'm definitely one for giving something a go, making your own opinion of it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into Children of Virtue and Vengeance later on in the month. Next is a non-fiction book called Rewild Yourself by Simon Barnes. And the sort of tagline is 23 spellbinding ways to make nature more visible. It's for anyone who wants to get closer to nature all around and bring it back into focus. And it's a fairly short read. It's like only 4 hours, so I'm interested to know what that's going to be like. I don't read tons of non-fiction, however I do have another non-fiction book on my list for this month, but I love being outside, I love taking walks, I love going down to my local beach, I love being in the woods, so yeah, I was just really intrigued by that sort of synopsis and thought that maybe that book would be something that would appeal to me. So I'm interested to see whether that will actually be the case. The next thing that's due to come through, although I'm slightly confused because on the front page of my borrow box it says it's available on the 19th of September. When I go into it, it says it's available on the 19th of October. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be getting this month, maybe not. I've been waiting for this for a long time and I'm really excited to read it. It's Becoming by Michelle Obama. I have heard nothing but great things about this book. An intimate, powerful and inspiring memoir by the First Lady of the United States. And I love Michelle Obama. Like the interviews that I've seen with her, she's just really comes across as being a elegant, intelligent woman. And yeah, as I say, I've heard nothing but good things about that. So yeah, whether I get it this month or next month, I guess we shall see. The next one on my list is a futuristic sci-fi fantasy type book. It's called War Girls, Ochi Onobuchi. I hope I pronounced that right. Two sisters are torn apart by war and must fight their way back to each other in a futuristic Black Panther-inspired Nigeria. Totally here for that. So that's coming through later into September. You get about 30 days loan period for these books, so there may be some that I don't actually read until October. And then I've got two more on the sort of September list that are due to come through. First is The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker. And this one was highly recommended to me after I mentioned on Instagram how much I loved Circe. So it's another retelling of Greek mythology about the siege at the city of Troy. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And then the final book, which isn't due to come through until the very end of September, so again I think it's probably more likely to be my October read, is Clap When You Land. And again I have a physical copy of this. This is by Elizabeth Acevedo, and I'm really intrigued to read this one. And it's written in verse, so I feel like it might be a fairly quick read. It's about two girls, one living in the Dominican Republic and one living in New York, who, unbeknownst to them, share the same father, and their father is killed in a plane crash, and they discover that the father has had two families. And again, I've heard nothing but great things about this book, so I'm really looking forward to get stuck into that. Also, on the go, I also have on Audible, I've been listening to Ready Player One on and off for the last couple of months. I started it for a readathon a couple of months ago, but wasn't able to get it finished during the readathon. The prompt for the readathon was to read a book that inspired a film that you've seen, and I watched the Ready Player One film, and it was a bit meh. But I've heard good things about the book and I am enjoying it immensely. It's narrated, the audiobook's narrated by Will Wheaton, which makes my Star Trek fangirl heart happy. And I'm really enjoying it, but because I own it on Audible, it kind of keeps getting pushed aside in favour of the books that I'm borrowing from the library, which kind of have a deadline for return. But I've got a little gap between Olive and the Children of Virtue and Vengeance. So if I get Olive finished fairly quickly, I might be able to squeeze in a bit more reading on Ready Player One. I've also got a stack of physical books that I could dip into. I'm partially through The Wolves of Willoughby Chase by Joan Atkin, which is kind of a kids sort of book in the vein of The Secret Garden, which is just off shot here on my bookcase. The Secret Garden is my all-time favourite book, and my lovely friend Miranda recommended this to me when I mentioned my love of The Secret Garden, and she lent me this copy. So I feel like this would be really quick to finish. The text in here is quite big, but I just haven't been able to devote the time to it. I've started it, as you can see, so that's one that I hope to dip into if I have time. I really want to start Pet Sematary. I know some people love this book, some people hate it, and I just bought it because I wanted to get stuck in, and then a bunch of those library reservations all of a sudden moved up the list, so I'm not going to be able to get to that anytime soon, but it's kind of on my radar. And I'm also dipping in and out of the graphic novel series Saga, and as you can see I've got a bookmark in there. I'm just under halfway through and I love this so much. This is a copy which has several of the volumes. I don't think it says, it just says book 1 on the spine, but I very luckily picked this up in a local charity shop, and I've been dipping in and out of it ever since. And I hear a lot of people say that they zoom through graphic novels, but I don't find that the case for me. I get so kind of transfixed in like all of the panels, the beautiful artwork, that it seems to take me forever to read a graphic novel. Find a sample of some of the illustrations without kind of giving too much away. There's violence, sex, so yeah, not kind of a cutesy children's comic book by any stretch of the imagination, and I'm really enjoying that. It's just turning out to be a slow read for me, and I keep this on the bed table and I pick it up and read a page or two sort of every evening if I can. But yeah, I spend a lot of time just gazing at the pretty pictures. So yes, quite ambitious reading plans for September, and I think I was hoping this video would be like a short, kind of less than 10 minutes, but I think it's going to be more close to 15-20 minutes by the time I've edited it down. There was quite a lot of waffle at the start about the apps that I use and how I read, so obviously that wouldn't be the case going forward for the rest of the videos. If I do further videos like this, then I'll be able to sort of shorten them down and just talk about the books. Let me know, would you like to see more videos like this? As I said, the plan would be maybe once a month. Would you prefer I shift them over to another channel? Have you read any of the books that are on my list? What did you think of them? What are your reading plans for September? Please let me know in the comments below. I always love to chat to you. Until we get to spend time together again, I hope you get to do all of the things that you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.